In this video, let's explore response object in Copilot Studio. Now, just to give you a context, I'm talking about a trigger, one of the trigger within Copilot Studio which you can use within the topic named as AI response generated. So what happens over here is when an agent basically processes the prompt or the query by a user, the agent looks into various sources and then start formulating the response. Now, before the response is being sent to the user, you have an option to track what agent actually did to the query and what response the agent generated. Now, there are various things which are available, like the response object refers to data and formatting that an agent sends back to the user as a reply. You can actually get the citation, the formatted text, the rewritten query, and the plan steps. Now, I'm going to show all this thing within the demo by just performing a simple test. Now, if you see in the screen, you get to see a citation in the form of an array, kind of like a JSON object. Formatted text is like the how the text is formatted based on whatever the LLM has processed. So this is the information which you can extract. Also, the plan steps, like what exactly did the LLM do, like which tool did it refer to, what was the name of that tool, what type of tool it was, and the rewritten query. So this one, rewritten query, is basically what LLM does is whatever query you type, LLM understands your query, interprets it, and then rewrite the query in its own format so that the internal LLM can understand it much better and you get a proper response back. Okay, so just to demonstrate this, let me jump into Copilot Studio over here. So I'm in copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com. I'm in one of the environment and I've created one simple agent, Super Intel agent, which technically doesn't do anything. I haven't put any specific instruction, but it will start searching information from the web. Okay, so let's ask a question to an agent. So what is capitalism? Now the agent understands the query, processes the information, and then it will give you the response back. Now this is the response which we got. Now with the help of one of the trigger, what we can do is like the time between the processing of information and getting the response back and displaying it to the user, we have an option to control what the user sees, so we can intercept the request at this point. Okay, so this is what as the agent has posted on the chat window, and this is what the user has asked. Now in between this, we have an option to get the response and then format it and then process it. Okay, so how do we do that? So let's go into the topic, add a topic from blank. Just for the sake of this example, I will just say maybe I'll just call this as maybe capitalism. I'm just doing it for one query, but then you can do it for any number of query as well. So trigger this topic when user types capitalism. It can be anything. I'm just hard coding this value just for showing you an example. Now send a message. Now before I click on send a message, let's see the trigger. The trigger option is when something happens, right? Now here, if I type in this trigger and if I process this information, this is like if someone types in something, you run this topic and then basically show it to the user. But this is not what we want. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just remove this. I'll say I want to change the trigger. So change the trigger, and now here I will select an AI generated response is about to be sent. Start before a response is sent to the user by the generative orchestrator. So I'll click here. Now what happens over here is whatever query you type and whatever response the ALM generates, this will get triggered before the response is given to an end user. So you have an option. So this is like an interception point whereby you can track what the LLM has generated, and if you have any last minute modification, you can do that within your business logic. Now I'll just click on add a node, send a message, and just to show you what are the different objects we get. So I'll click on insert variable, system, and if I scroll down, I should be seeing a lot of objects. Now, one is response dot citations. Then we have response dot formatted text, response dot plan step, and response dot rewritten query. So let me pick up response dot citations. Then I'll go over here again. I'll put response dot formatted text. Then I'll insert another variable, response dot plan steps, and the last variable, response dot rewritten query. So these are the four objects which I'll be using. So I'll just make it bold. So citations, formatted text, plan steps, rewritten query. So I'll just make it bold so that once this response has been passed on, it will be completely visible. So I'll click on save. So we have used the system variables to generate the response, and then we can format the response on basis of whatever LLM has produced. So again, start a new session, and I'll put a query as what is capitalism. Now, once the user types in the prompt and the response being processed by LLM, you can see a lot of things happening. Now, this is the last text which we got is actually what LLM will display to the end user. But we intercepted the request and we have written our own things over here. So if you see over here, citations, formatted text, rewritten query. Now let's go into this one by one. Now citation, I didn't find anything specifically. So this has come directly from the general knowledge of LLM. It hasn't referred to any third party sources. Then we have formatted text. This is what the text which has been generated, and now this is the exact text which gets displayed in the screen. So formatted text is what the output you're going to get in the screen. Plan steps, it has actually looked into the tool. Now one of the tool is the universal search tool. That's the name, and the type is of knowledge source. And if you see over here, rewritten query. Now, we just asked what is capitalism. That's what we asked. But LLM will take this query and then it will rewrite the query in such a form that the LLM model understands it. So, rewritten query, the user wants to know the definition or explanation of capitalism. Now, this is how you can explore various response object. Now, let me pick up another example. So, I'll call, so who was the winner of, or just I'll just say winner of Australian Open Men's 2025. And it says, as of now, the winner of the men's singles 2025 has not been determined or publicly announced. If you have a specific player in mind or need information about previous winners, feel free to ask. Now, what has happened over here? It hasn't gone into internet. It has just generated this response by using the general knowledge from the LLM. Now, 2025 Australian Open has already been, like say, the winner has been decided, but still the LLM has extracted the response from its own general knowledge. So that means this data is like the data for the LLM is way below the year 2025. So if I go into the settings over here, and I can see that I've used generative orchestration, response formatting is there, then the moderation, and then from the knowledge, use information from the web. So I'll just go ahead, click on use information from the web, click on save. Yeah, so the settings, I think, yeah, let me see if they have saved. Yes, so all good. Close this. And now let me ask the question again. Winner of Australian Open Men's 2025. Now, what it has done, it has gone into the internet, and then it has formulated this response. Now, this is what the LLM has provided the response as. But if you see the rewritten query, it says the user wants to know who won the men's singles at the Australian Open. So I didn't mention singles, I didn't mention any specific thing, but LLM has rewritten that query. Plan step, if you see, it has gone into universal search tool, type is a knowledge source, formatted text along with the citations. Now, citations were earlier missing because we were just using LLM knowledge source. Now, if you see the citations, let me scroll, and there's a huge bit of citations over here. So, as you see, this is the entire citations which it has generated. So, let me just copy this citations. Yeah, and I'll be using one of the JSON tool just to get this information in a grid format. So if you see, it has generated the icon URL, the ID, the name, and then the entire citation text. So this is the entire citation text which it has generated. So like three citations, and as you see over here, one, two, and three. And if you click on it, it will take you to the content. So that's it, folks. This is how you basically explore and check the response object within Copilot Studio. So, four items you get: one is the citation, second is the formatted text, third is the plan step, and fourth is the rewritten query. Thanks for watching.